finally decides to get into the Caitlin Clark.
For months, the rumors swirled, the speculation ran wild, and fans begged Nike to finally give Caitlin Clark the recognition she's earned. Well, the wait is over. Nike has just unveiled the most iconic logo launch in women's sports history. The moment that CC hit the screen, the internet completely lost its mind. And when paired with a cinematic commercial that looked like something straight out of Hollywood, it became clear this wasn't just another endorsement deal. This was a cultural moment. But while Clark's supporters were celebrating what may go down as the biggest endorsement breakthrough in women's basketball, not everyone was thrilled. In fact, someone else was spiraling after being pushed out of the spotlight yet again.
Got the pants, got the charms, necklace, zipper, everything.
It's special. I mean, you know, there's very few people who get the opportunity to say that they have a logo and to make the impact that she makes, not just, I think, in the sport, but globally, just by being who she is. She's a connector. She brings people together. And, you know, I think for us to be a part of that, and whether it's, you know, as simple as being able to celebrate all of these things with her, or, you know, as much as walking out into the arena and seeing the whiteout on the chairs out there, it's really cool. And it's really special and shoot, I'm talking about it right now, and just feeling the intense gratitude for me personally, being in women's basketball, to be able to be a part of this moment and to celebrate with her.
Angel Reese just can't seem to stay out of the spotlight. And once again, it's for all the wrong reasons. Her latest act of pettiness during Candace Parker's jersey retirement on August 30th might go down as the most embarrassing moment we've seen from a pro athlete this entire season. Before we dive in, make sure to smash that like button and type Night Queen in the comments, because what I'm about to break down proves why Caitlin Clark is playing on an entirely different level than the rest of the league. Now, let's talk about that Nike logo reveal. This is the moment Clark fans have been waiting for ever since she officially joined the Wnba on April 14th, 2024. And honestly, it's about time. Nike finally gave her the recognition she deserves, unveiling a sleek design built around two interlocking Cs. According to Nike, the inner C represents her dominant inside game, while the outer C captures her unmatched range and outside shooting. The perfect symbol for a player redefining the sport.
I've been telling y'all that Nike takes their time, that A'ja Wilson's shoe deal was 2 years in the making, that Paige Beckers had PEs, not her own signature shoe, and that Caitlin Clark's was 100% coming. And people kept saying, oh, Nike fumbled the bag with Caitlin. It has to get out there. Nike fumbled the bag. No, they didn't. It takes time. She's got to develop a whole freaking product line. But they just announced, breaking news right now, we have a logo. That is the official Caitlin Clark Nike logo. And it's not just that. I mean, this is cool. Nike has just announced that a signature product line will be dropping soon, with signature shoes coming in 2026. Now, this is going to be her logo for all of her Nike.
I'll be real with you. When I first saw the logo drop on September 25th, I wasn't blown away. At first glance, it looked like nothing more than two overlapping circles. For a player of Caitlin Clark's talent and marketability, it almost felt too simple. But here's the truth about powerful branding that most people overlook. The best logos don't always smake you in the face with complexity. They grow on you. And Clark's CC design is the perfect example of that. The longer you look at it, the more it clicks. From a merchandising and marketing standpoint, it's brilliant. Nike can stamp this logo on hoodies, tees, sneakers, or any type of gear, and it'll look clean, sharp, and instantly recognizable. It's minimal, it's timeless, and most importantly, it's uniquely hers. This is the kind of symbol that fans will be identifying with for decades. And then there's the commercial. Nike went above and beyond, dropping a cinematic ad packed with subtle details and hidden Easter eggs that Clark's fans are still catching even now. It wasn't just a product launch, it was a statement.
WNIK, and as usual, we're talking about Caitlin Clark.
All right, subtle commercial, nothing too crazy, no big bang. But here we go, folks. If we look at this right here, this is the Easter egg I'm talking about. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 billboards, 8 billboards. October, December, November, January, February, March, April, May, the start of the WNBA season. Is that when these shoes are gonna drop? Is that when these shoes are gonna drop in May? We know that come October, we're gonna get some merchandise, we're gonna get some apparel. But the shoes, they said, coming soon in 2026. How soon? May 2026.
One of the biggest hints came in a sequence flashing 8 different months: October, November, December, January, February, March, April, and May. All signs point toward May 2026 being the official launch of Caitlin Clark's signature Nike shoe. Let that sink in. Clark could be stepping into just her 3rd WNBA season, already rocking her own Nike sneaker. For most basketball legends, something like this took years, sometimes decades, to achieve. And make no mistake, this rollout has been planned down to the last detail. It begins with apparel dropping in stores on October 1st, 2025, leading into the long-anticipated shoe release in May 2026. This isn't some rushed money grab or a basic licensing deal. This is Nike carefully building an empire around Caitlin Clark, an investment that could rival some of the biggest endorsement legacies in basketball history. The patience, the resources, the scale, it all proves one thing. Nike sees Clark not as a passing trend, but as a generational icon. But while Nike was busy elevating Clark to the top of the sports marketing world, Angel Reese was busy doing the exact opposite, turning what should have been a proud night in Chicago Sky history into a complete embarrassment.
You see here, a lot of the players decided to show support, show some love. But remember, Candace Parker rated Angel Reese as a C-tier player. And the Reese's Pieces got in Angel Reese's head that Candace Parker was hating, so now Angel Reese needs to throw shade towards Candace Parker's way. Angel Reese, somebody who called Candace Parker a clout chaser. Imagine that, Angel Reese in another one-sided beef. Angel Reese calling somebody else a clout chaser. You can't make this stuff up, folks. You can't make.
August 30th, 2025 was meant to be a night of honor, a celebration of Candace Parker, a true icon who delivered a championship to Chicago and earned the respect of everyone in that arena. But instead of joining in, Angel Reese turned the spotlight on her own ego and personal grudges. The scene should have been powerful. Every Chicago Sky player proudly wearing tribute shirts featuring Parker's face, her number 3, and that unforgettable championship trophy. Camila Cardoso wore it. Haley Van Lith wore it. Even the team mascot joined in. It was a moment of unity, of respect, of love for one of the greatest to ever play the game, but not Angel Reese. She pulled her jacket up to her chin, zipped so tight it looked like she was suffocating, just to make sure nobody could see a single glimpse of Candace Parker's tribute shirt underneath. A move so petty, it shocked the entire building. And where did this come from? All because earlier in the season, Parker dared to rank Reese as a C-tier player during a segment. That one critique rattled Reese so badly that, months later, she couldn't even show the bare minimum of professional respect on the night Candace Parker's jersey was being retired.
The Angel Reese, oh, she said, hell no. She said, I am keeping this, I am keeping this warm-up jacket. Folks, I gotta, see that? I still had a little bit to go. See? Angel Reese, she's got no more room. That thing is zipped up so tight she could barely breathe. But guess what? She's definitely not gonna be giving Candace Parker any grace. She's not gonna be giving Candace Parker any clout, giving Candace Parker the respect. When we look at the intros, everybody's wearing their shirts, except for one, Angel Reese. You see, this is what I'm talking about. Angel Reese says, nah, I'm not gonna be called dead.
Instead of turning that moment into fuel to silence her critics with a 25-point performance, Angel Reese crumbled. She spent the game sulking, finishing with an ugly 3 for 10 from the field and even botching easy finishes around the rim. The difference in how she and Candace Parker, or even Caitlin Clark, handle pressure couldn't be clearer if you scripted it. Think about it. When Nike undervalued Caitlin Clark during her college days and early WNBA career, did she waste time whining on social media or making petty statements? Not at all. She let her game do the talking, raising her level until Nike was forced to recognize her value with one of the biggest endorsement contracts in women's basketball history. Now compare that to Angel Reese. One comment from a legend, and her response is sulking on the court, hiding tribute shirts under jackets and letting her frustration drag down her performance. And the timing says it all. On September 25th, Caitlin Clark was on top of the basketball world, securing a groundbreaking Nike partnership that capped off years of hard work, focus, and professionalism. Meanwhile, Angel Reese was busy showing the world just how far she still has to go.
Just gifted her entire team her signature merch, but it wasn't just the team. Every fan that shows up to Gamebridge tonight will get the first release of Caitlin Clark's signature merchandise. About the Indiana Fever not showing love to Caitlin Clark. Because to me, it took too long. Well, guess what, guys? Now
While Angel Reese is still facing the backlash from her August 30th meltdown, a moment that exposed exactly what kind of competitor she becomes when things don't go her way, the conversation on September 25th shifted in a big way. The moment Nike revealed Caitlin Clark's logo, social media instantly jumped into comparison mode. And those comparisons perfectly highlight the current hierarchy in women's basketball endorsements. At the top sits Sabrina Ionescu. Her logo is sleek, polished, and immediately recognizable, a design that feels like it belongs on every piece of gear Nike can produce. Right behind her is Angel Reese's Reebok mark. It's simple, clearly built around the A, and while it isn't groundbreaking, it works well enough as a brand stamp. But then things get messy. Some of the other signature logos floating around women's basketball just don't measure up. Breanna Stewart's design looks more like a quick classroom doodle than a professional brand identity. And A'ja Wilson's? Well, let's just say it resembles a bottle opener you'd get tossed in for free with a soda purchase.
It's simply the talk of the internet today. Her and Taylor Swift broke the damn internet. Yes, bro. And for all the people that was hitting me up about Caitlin Clark's signature logo, somebody said it looked like Chanel. I said it looked like Gucci. But whatever it is a luxury sports brand. I can't think of very many luxury sports brands. Guys, yeah, do you like, I'm a fashion guy. And I understand what Nike is doing. Nike is trying to get into the luxury brands.
The fact that Caitlin Clark's straightforward CC logo instantly climbed into the top tier of women's basketball branding says a lot, not just about the design, but about how low the standard has been set by past attempts. What makes this Nike deal truly historic, though, is the journey it took to get here. Back in March 2024, Clark's boyfriend Connor McCaffrey publicly called out Nike for disrespecting her, pointing out how absurd it was that someone with her talent and marketability wasn't getting the endorsements she deserved. For months, it felt like Nike was dragging its feet, slow to recognize what was obvious to everyone else. But persistence pays off. Clark kept proving herself on the court, and eventually Nike had no choice but to come back with what looks like a once-in-a-generation deal. It's not just a contract, it's validation. And the fans? They've made their voices heard. Since the September 25th reveal, social media has been flooded with excitement. People are calling this the beginning of a new era, praising the logo's clean simplicity, and already counting down the days until they can grab the merch when it drops on October 1st.
Went all out for Caitlin Clark's logo drop, so there was a lot of excitement already, like fluttering about Gamebridge, and energy was high. They definitely spared no expense in letting everybody know that Caitlin Clark does have a new logo out. The arena was actually covered with t-shirts that said Caitlin Clark was here. The outside of the arena had her logo everywhere. She even showed up with all these like accoutrements.
I can't have anything without some negativity. Sports Illustrated posted this, but I actually read the article. It's just hater. He used random people's opinions on X and Twitter. Fans don't like her logo. No, you don't like the logo. You just found some random people that agree with your opinion. This is called confirmation bias. I can't stand people like that. What they do is they find anybody who confirms their bias. So what they do Google searches and things like that instead of just being objective.
The hype is off the charts right now, and that's exactly what any brand wants to see. Pure, organic excitement pouring straight from the fans. But here's where things get interesting, and honestly, a little suspicious. Despite this being one of the biggest endorsement deals in women's basketball history, the WNBA's official social media channels have been noticeably quiet. Meanwhile, the Indiana Fever wasted no time celebrating their superstar, posting fire emojis and hyping up the achievement. But the league's main account? Radio silence. And that's not the kind of silence you can just brush off. We're talking about the WNBA's biggest draw and most marketable name landing a historic Nike partnership, and the league itself acting like it never happened. Now, maybe the conspiracy theories are reaching, but from a PR standpoint, the optics are brutal. When fans on Twitter are showing more excitement for your brightest star than the league office itself, something is seriously off. Whether it's sloppy media management or something more intentional, the message is clear. The WNBA either doesn't understand how to market its top asset, or it's running on an agenda that doesn't match what the fans actually want.
Brought in new fans, national media, and even primetime slots. Her absence isn't just hurting the Indiana Fever, it's apparently impacted the entire league's momentum. But this also sparks a deeper conversation. Is it fair for one rookie to carry the weight of an entire league's popularity? You see, critics say the WNBA's marketing has leaned heavily on Caitlin Clark, while longtime stars like A'ja Wilson, Breonna Stewart, and others deserve more spotlight too. On the flip side, others argue Caitlin Clark is the draw and the...
When you zoom out, this Nike partnership feels like a turning point. Not just for Caitlin Clark, but for women's basketball endorsements as a whole. Deals like this send a loud message across the sports marketing world. Women's sports aren't just worthy of investment, they're profitable. And let's be clear, this isn't about charity or corporate social responsibility. Nike isn't handing out favors. They're putting serious money on the table because they believe Caitlin Clark will sell merchandise, grow the brand, and inspire loyalty that pays off for years to come. The timing is no accident either. That May 2026 shoe launch lines up perfectly with what could be Clark's peak WNBA season. If she continues to develop and stays healthy, we're talking about a year where she could dominate the league and potentially push her team toward a championship run. Now picture the marketing synergy. Clark leading highlight reels every night while her signature shoes are hitting shelves at the exact same time. That's how you create legendary campaigns, moments that live on for decades, and the kind of brand loyalty that passes from one generation of fans to the next.
Coming next generation young guns enter the league, it is becoming more and more apparent that the WNBA veterans did not do much to really advance the game of the WNBA. They didn't really develop the game as much as they'd like to think. You have these rookies coming in and doing in one season, and doing in less than a season and half a season what it's taken these vets of the past.
People are selling the new Caitlin Clark Kobe's for double, sometimes more than double what they actually paid for them. So it's been estimated there's about 13,000 of these shoes that were released from Nike, and literally within minutes, all sold out for about $190 a piece. People knew these were going to be hot, so resellers were picking them up on the cheap and now doubling and sometimes tripling their profits on a place like eBay. So if you were lucky enough to get a pair of these, put them up on eBay, you're going to sell them for around $350, $400 minimum, depending on the size. And that's just kind of the way it works right now with anything Caitlin Clark related. This stuff is really hot. Watch for Caitlin Clark stuff.
The September 25th Nike commercial deserves credit of its own because it showcased Caitlin Clark exactly how she should be presented, as a true superstar. Not as some niche women's athlete who needs a different marketing approach, but as one of the biggest names in all of basketball. The visuals, the soundtrack, the hidden Easter eggs, every detail screamed elite brand partnership, not a token gesture. And that matters. It proves Nike views Clark as someone who can compete for the same marketing dollars as their top male athletes. This isn't a side project, it's a statement. What makes it even sweeter is the karma in play here. Remember the critics who called her overrated? The brands that lowballed her early on? The players who tried to downplay her impact? Now, they're all watching from the sidelines while Clark signs historic deals and builds a brand empire. Meanwhile, Angel Reese's jacket stunt on August 30th only highlighted the difference. While others get caught up in jealousy and petty antics, Caitlin Clark just keeps winning.
Reese shoe before a Caitlin Clark shoe. It's almost like Nike forgot about Caitlin Clark and just moved on to Juju because they announced stuff about her signature shoe coming out in March with details of colorway, style, price, the whole 9 yards. And all they've done with Caitlin Clark is give her a colorway in the Kobe shoes and just calling them like the Caitlin Clark Kobe's. But even just that, they sold out in less than a minute. And don't get me wrong, like, I'm happy for Angel Reese. She got her signature shoe and was featured on the 2K26 cover with the signature shoe.
Seek that attention, right? And another thing is, it's obvious she's jealous of Caitlin. Every interview, every tweet, everything is about Caitlin. I haven't yet to see Caitlin even respond to her yet. Have y'all?
No.
So when you asking me like, yo, I get it, everybody's watching women's basketball now, who's the real reason? Well, yes, you are right. Reese has a small amount of that, right? But the other real credit goes to Caitlin. Not just because what she's doing outside the court, and she's waving her hand, doing all that. It's because she's giving buckets in basketball, right? And she looks like Steph Curry. And that's simple.
The Reese is that when we talk about and attitude can make somebody unattractive, her attitude and just her demeanor really rubs me the wrong way. I'm not on the court, so maybe Caitlin Clark has said something crazy to Angel Reese. I have not heard it. Angel Reese, whenever she has the opportunity to throw a shot, she does, and she makes herself look like an ass. They're watching the WNBA because of one person. It's okay. A talented player, maybe you and Caitlin Clark would share the lead.
Women's basketball couldn't ask for a better moment to shine. Having a true superstar with major brand support doesn't just elevate one player, it raises the entire sport. When casual fans catch Caitlin Clark starring in Nike commercials during NBA broadcasts or spot her gear in national retail stores, it helps normalize women's basketball on a massive scale. Now, they're all watching from the sidelines while Clark signs historic deals and builds a brand empire. Meanwhile, Angel Reese's jacket stunt on August 30th only highlighted the difference. While others get caught up in jealousy and petty antics, Caitlin Clark just keeps winning. Women's basketball couldn't ask for a better moment to shine. Having a true superstar with major brand support doesn't just elevate one player, it raises the entire sport. When casual fans catch Caitlin Clark starring in Nike commercials during NBA broadcasts or spot her gear in national retail stores, it helps normalize women's basketball on a massive scale. Even players who may not be Clark's biggest fans have to admit that her success opens doors for everyone, from bigger contracts to more sponsorship opportunities across the league. The difference in approach between Clark and Angel Reese has never been clearer. While Caitlin is busy inking historic endorsement deals and laying the foundation for a business empire, Angel keeps grabbing headlines for petty drama, like showing disrespect to legends during milestone moments. One operates with the mindset of a professional who understands the business of sports, while the other seems stuck in a high school attitude. Now, all eyes are on October 1st, when Caitlin's first wave of Nike merchandise officially drops. Judging by the early hype on social media, Nike could be sitting on a record-breaking launch for women's basketball gear. Clark's star power, Nike's marketing machine, and years of pent-up fan demand create the perfect recipe for history. But the real test comes in May 2026, when her signature basketball shoe hits the shelves. A signature sneaker isn't just a product, it's the ultimate symbol of cultural impact and marketability. If Clark can pull it off, she'll join a short list of women's players who turned athletic success into global influence and generational wealth. This partnership with Nike represents more than just Clark's personal rise. It's a turning point for how major brands view women's sports. When Nike announced the deal on September 25th, they weren't only betting on Caitlin. They were declaring that women's basketball is commercially powerful, not just a side project for diversity points. That kind of backing from the world's biggest athletic brand sends shockwaves through the industry and forces everyone else to take women's sports seriously. The ripple effect across the WNBA has to be massive. Seeing Caitlin Clark lock down a groundbreaking Nike deal while many of her peers are left with smaller local sponsorships, or no endorsements at all, creates a new hierarchy that simply didn't exist before. Take Angel Reese, for example. She signed with Reebok earlier in 2025, but you can bet she's wondering what moves she could have made differently to attract the same kind of global attention. The truth is straightforward. Dominating on the court matters far more than fueling drama or chasing social media headlines. What makes Nike's September 25th announcement so powerful is how it validates every choice Clark made during her years at Iowa from 2020 through 2024. While other players transferred, chased quick wins, or got tangled in rivalries, Clark stayed disciplined. She committed to her craft, sharpened her game, and built her image with patience and purpose. Now, those 4 years of consistency and professionalism are paying off in ways her competitors can only imagine. And Nike didn't just sign her, they timed the announcement perfectly. Dropping the news at the height of WNBA playoff buzz ensures maximum impact. Fans are already tuned into women's basketball, and with Clark sidelined by injury, the timing adds an emotional layer of anticipation for her comeback. It's a marketing masterclass, showing Nike's ability to craft stories that connect with fans on a deeper level. The global implications of this deal are equally huge. Nike's reach means Clark's brand won't just live in the US. It'll be on shelves across Europe, Asia, and South America. For young girls in those markets, seeing her logo might be their first introduction to women's basketball. That kind of exposure doesn't just create hype. It builds sustainable, long-term fan bases. And then there's the innovation factor. Nike has always pushed the limits with tech-driven products, and Clark's first signature shoe, set for release in May 2026, could take it even further. Imagine built-in performance tracking, interactive social features, or even augmented reality experiences tied to the shoes. It's more than just footwear. It's an ecosystem that keeps fans engaged long after the purchase. The mix of Caitlin Clark's tech-savvy fanbase and Nike's unmatched ability to innovate has created the perfect storm for redefining women's basketball footwear. Nike's bold move just set a new standard, and now every other major brand, Adidas, Under Armour, Puma, and more, is scrambling to find the next Caitlin Clark before Nike secures all the top talent. This competition isn't just good for Clark, it's a win for every women's basketball player. Rivalry between brands pushes endorsement deals higher and creates more opportunities for athletes to turn their name into a business. Nike's rollout has also been a masterclass in marketing. Instead of dropping everything at once, they've carefully teased content and hidden Easter eggs to keep fans speculating and glued to their screens. That September 25th commercial wasn't the end. It was just the opening move in a carefully planned campaign leading to the October 1st merchandise drop, and, ultimately, the May 2026 release of Clark's signature shoe. This kind of long-term vision is what separates elite brand management from ordinary social media hype. Naturally, comparisons to men's basketball stars are going to come. And while Clark isn't pulling Michael Jordan or LeBron James money, yet the trajectory is undeniable. By the time her shoe officially hits in 2026, the real question will be, can it break out of the sports world and become a cultural fashion statement? Given her crossover popularity and Nike's marketing genius, the odds are high. There's also an educational takeaway here for young athletes. Building your personal brand matters as much as your performance on the court. Clark went from being overlooked by major companies in college to signing a groundbreaking deal with Nike on September 25th. That journey proves persistence, professionalism, and excellence eventually pay off. A powerful message for the next generation watching her rise. And finally, let's not ignore the ripple effect inside the WNBA. This deal gives Clark a level of power and independence that most players don't have. When you're generating millions for Nike, you carry leverage that league salaries and smaller endorsements simply can't match. That kind of influence could reshape not only her career path, but also the balance of power within the entire league. Nike's September 25th commercial didn't just showcase Caitlin Clark, it set a new bar for how women's basketball players should be marketed. From now on, a lazy graphic and a generic highlight reel won't cut it. Fans expect the same cinematic quality, creativity, and detail that men's endorsement campaigns have enjoyed for years. That higher standard lifts the entire landscape of women's sports. The strategy behind Nike's October 1st merchandise rollout is equally sharp. By launching apparel first, they're testing demand and gauging fan response before diving into the massive costs of shoe production. If the gear sells out, it validates their gamble and builds momentum heading into the May 2026 signature shoe release. If it doesn't, they can tweak their approach without burning millions. But the deeper significance here goes beyond strategy. Having a women's basketball star with this level of brand recognition reshapes culture. For young girls growing up now, seeing Caitlin Clark front and center in Nike campaigns during prime time won't feel groundbreaking. It'll feel normal. And that normalization is how role models are built and possibilities expand for future generations. The contrast between Clark's rise and Angel Reese's August 30th jacket controversy makes the narrative even sharper. One player is building long-term corporate partnerships and showing professional maturity, while the other was making headlines for disrespecting legends during their moment. Those choices carry weight, and the fallout is playing out in real time. Financially, Clark's deal has massive upside. Her college jerseys were some of the top-selling women's basketball merchandise ever, and pairing that fan demand with Nike's global marketing machine is a recipe for historic sales. It feels less like a gamble and more like an inevitability. This September 25th announcement may ultimately be remembered as a turning point, a moment when women's basketball endorsements stopped being treated like token gestures and started being recognized as serious, profitable investments. That ripple effect benefits players, fans, and the sport itself for decades to come. Of course, that kind of spotlight comes with pressure. Every game Clark plays after her injury won't just be measured in points and assists, but in how it drives Nike's narrative, sales, and cultural relevance. That's the cost of being the face of a global campaign. But if history tells us anything, Clark thrives when the stakes are highest, and perhaps the biggest impact lies overseas. With Nike's worldwide reach, Clark-branded merchandise could spark interest in places like Europe and Asia, where the WNBA has had little traction. That kind of organic, sustainable growth is how women's basketball builds a global fan base, not through short-lived publicity stunts, but by creating lasting connections.